So very good morning, welcome back to another video. A bit of a weird one for me today because for the first time as a photographer, I have no Canon equipment whatsoever. The Olympus EM-1 Mark 2, the 12 to 42.8. Let's get stuck in some long exposures at Withensea Beach. Hopefully, we get some nice photos. Alright, so we're starting off here with a bit of a fun one. So I've got these steps leading down to some rocks at the bottom. There is a little post in the water and there's a ship out to sea. So we're going to do a 60-second exposure, f8 ISO 200 using the 10-stop filter. Hopefully we'll be able to retain a little bit of the detail in the sky. There's a little bit of colour up there, so I'm kind of hoping we can retain that and make something kind of fun looking. So we've just got the steps leading right down the middle of the frame. Hopefully we'll end up with quite a nice photograph. 60 seconds is going to be a bit funny here because the wind is really kind of blowing at me behind you. Hopefully it's not going to wobble the camera about too much. I've got it on a new carbon fibre tripod from Ulanzi. We'll talk about that in another video. Let's get stuck in and take this first photograph. Alright, so change of plan. The wind is really just destroying me right now. So we've dropped the exposure time down to 25 seconds. We're still going to get the same look, just not as flattened out and smoothed out as I was hoping to get, but at least we're going to get the photograph. So 25 seconds, f8, ISO 200, 10-stop ND filter. Hopefully me standing here is a bit of a windbreak will prevent this from wobbling about too much. Let's have a look at the final photograph. Alright, so I've now moved down onto the beach and I've kind of conceded for this next photograph I'm probably going to get wet. The tide's coming in, there are some awesome breaking waves. The tide has got some real force behind it today. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to stand on them steps over there and I'm just going to shoot the archway where I was shooting from the steps earlier on. Hopefully we'll get a nice big crashing wave using the archway. And it's going to look quite nice. This is going to be sketchy. Right, so we've got the photograph, and the question on everybody's mind is, yes, I did take one for the team then. I am absolutely soaked from the knees down, but we've got the photograph, no damage done. We got away with it a little bit. The rain has come in a little bit, it's got a little bit damp all of a sudden. So I'm a little bit unsure as to what to do. This camera is not weather sealed. This camera is, this camera isn't. I'm a little bit concerned now about what we're going to do, so then we go for a drive. There's one more subject here that I'm aware of. May make for a nice photograph. Let's go find it though. I've only been to it once and you're going back 3 years. Let's go find it. Let's go see what we can do. Alright, so we found the subject. It is an old wooden boat that's been buried into the ground and it's been used as a windbreak for a bench. Now, if you've watched any of my content before, you'll know I kind of like to be out in the middle of nowhere. Not on the edge of a park, surrounded by houses and people, but here we go. So I kind of thought the boat might make for a nice splash of colour against what is essentially a very grey and overcast day at this point. Let's have a look. So we've got the boat nice and framed up in the middle of the frame, f5, an 80th of a second, ISO 200. And I'm just going to burst mode it. See how this one turns out. Right, so for this next one, I want to try something I wouldn't really normally do, and that's sort of shooting down on something. But if you look, as the waves are retreating, they're kind of leaving all these white streaks in the surf, and it looks quite fun. So I thought we'd shoot down, use the groins and the post, and see what photograph we can make with this. I want to get a shutter speed of around a second, 2 seconds. So I'll just throw a gentle filter on there. Hopefully not destroy it too much. Let's see what we can do. Let's get things set up and take a photograph. Right, so I think I've got something set up. 1.3 seconds, f13, ISO 200, and a 5-stop filter. Now there'll be people out there that say f13, diffraction, this, that and the other. There's nothing really in this photograph that I need to be super sharp. It's more a photograph for the effect of the long exposure with the waves streaking out. So I'm not really too bothered about anything like that at the minute. So 2-second timer, the waves are now going out. See how this looks. Right, so I've just picked up my new favouriteest ever camera accessory. It's one of these things, let me show you. You see my camera is now attached to the shoulder strap on my backpack, which is going to make this walking around photography an awful lot easier, because you know them times when your camera's in your camera bag, you see something and you really just can't be bothered to stop, take it all out, attach a lens, this, that and the other. Well, that's going to eliminate that problem. So today's little adventure is the first time wow, them waves are really... The first time I've been out with this Olympus EM-1 Mark II. And this specific Olympus EM-1 Mark II is actually getting returned tomorrow. The rubber on the thumb grip bit there, it's all coming away. And MPB in their original listing didn't actually state that. So I kicked up a little bit of a fuss when it came. And they're going to exchange it from me, which is quite nice of them. So hopefully, later on in the week, we'll have one that's not falling apart. It's not that it's falling apart, it's just it's a little bit frustrating because that rubber is eventually going to give up. And, well, why should I buy something damaged that wasn't listed as damaged? These waves are really, really feisty. Let me see if I can turn around and catch one. I wonder if we can do something with the high speed on this. So look, there's one coming. Is it going to splash? Yeah, bit sad that one. But yeah, these waves are really sort of feisty around here. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering, if you see behind me, there's that archway castle looking thing. Let's hang around here. Let's see if we can't get a big wave splashing. It's a little bit safer than the last time I tried this. Not quite as in the way. Let's have a look, see what we can do. So today's video, it's been a little bit of a mishmash, I think. I'm kind of trying to get used to filming everything on Micro Four Thirds. You see, I got rid of all the Canon gear last year, so this has been shot on my EM-5 Mark II with a 14 to 42mm lens. Everything's a little bit more punched in than I'm kind of used to. So it's all been a bit of a learning curve this morning. The weather conditions haven't helped. It wasn't really supposed to be as grey, damp, miserable as it's turned out to be, but I've had fun using this thing, even though it's going back. So hopefully next week we'll have something a little bit more cohesive. So thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up because it really does help the video out and it brings new viewers to see my content. If you enjoyed it more than that, please do consider subscribing if you are new here. So until next time, I'm going to love you and leave you and say peace and goodbye.